Hi everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel or Rumble, whichever one you happen to be watching this on. So in this video, I'm going to address some rumors that's been going around, or in the news, not about me personally, that's on the news. So something that's trending, that supposedly a 4-year-old girl is facing deportation, and supposedly this is all Trump's fault, and the mainstream media is making it look like, well, Trump has signed her death warrant, basically, and that this poor 4-year-old girl is going to die, and it's all Trump's fault. I did some checking into that, and while there was technically a little bit of truth into that, it's also highly exaggerated. See, mainstream media is making it sound like that she's 100% going to be deported, and she's dying, and she's going to die, and it's all Trump's fault, and they're making Trump out there as a kind of monster because of this. When I did some checking, and there was actually some pretty valid reasons for her to be here, for that family to be here. Okay? And Trump did make some changes to the requirements in order to prevent abuse and misuse of that kind of thing. And I'd like to get into that case, into that situation. I looked into that, and I can't see this girl actually being deported. The family came here legally, especially to seek medical treatment for that 4-year-old. Although they came here a couple years ago, so I guess the same kid would have been 2 at the time. And yeah, and I'm going to assume that the initial deportation order was because the Trump administration was not aware that this was a valid reason for this family to stay. And there are a lot of people who misuse that. I forgot to check how rare this is. But there is a lot. I'm going to assume that a lot of people are actually abusing it, and this is only a very rare case of someone who actually needs it. But even if I am wrong, the fact that this is an actual situation, and that this family has documented proof that this is a real emergency, they have an actual medical need to stay in this country, the level of care is not available in Mexico. That right there is why this girl is not gonna. I can't see this girl being deported at all. Because I think what they're gonna need to do is basically, provide evidence, provide documentation to prove that there is a legitimate medical reason for this girl to be in this country. That treatment to that is not available in Mexico. Further adding the need for them to be in this country. And the USCIS or whatever they call it. I have to go back and double check what they call it. But there was somewhere that's trying to decide. I think that's currently evaluating that situation to determine whether or not she's actually going to get deported. And given what we know about the situation, and that this is an actual need, this family has been here for 2 years already, so they should have tons of documented medical history on this kid So given that situation, it is highly unlikely that she is actually going to get deported at all. It seems very likely, with all the documented evidence, that they're going to be able to, that this family's going to end up being able to stay. Okay? That's it. They're going to end up being able to stay. But the mainstream media is blowing this out of proportion, making it sound like Trump is a heartless monster and sentencing this girl to her death, basically. But given what we know, in the level of research, and making it sound like that, oh my gosh, they're officially going to get deported. That's a narrative that's being pushed. Again, it is not official that this film is being deported just yet. Okay, it is being evaluated, and I'm going to assume that the people, I forget what they're called, I think CIC or CIS or something other. I could be calling it wrong. But I'm going to assume that these people who make that kind of choice, they are going over I'm going to assume that they're going over the 4-year-old's medical records, because that's part of that has to be part of the evaluation process. With something like this, since they're here for medical treatment, and they came here legally for that. So I'm going to assume that this family is here for that reason. That they're being evaluated for that. I'm going to assume that they're going over their medical records and stuff like that. And if this is an actual dire case, if this case really is that bad as it's being perceived, and the girl is actually at risk, then she's most likely going to be allowed to stay. Okay? Whatever happens, this girl is going to end up being allowed to stay. I mean, even if this gets denied for some strange reason, this family should be able to challenge that and provide the documents that show medical reasons. This is why they're here for medical treatment. This medical treatment is only available, is not available in Mexico. They had to get it in the United States. And her life could be at risk without it. So under those circumstances, I do not believe this girl is going to be deported. Okay? The Trump administration might not have known this at the time the order was given. But the good news is that this family is able to do something about that, and which is why it's under evaluation again. And the idea is to prevent someone from misusing something like this, from falsifying medical issues or whatever, to gain access, to lying about they need treatment or whatever. Is to prevent misuse and abuse of this kind of stuff. Because I would imagine that there are lots of people who try to claim medical reasons to enter the country when they don't actually have any medical reason to enter the country. They're lying about it, and the ones that actually need it, like this situation, they should be able to provide proof easy. Like, here you go, here's the medical records, here's the proof, and it is currently under evaluation. And given all this evidence, if this is a life or death situation, if this girl absolutely needs this treatment to survive, she is not going to get deported. Okay? As like the mainstream media is making it sound like. Okay? Well, that is it for this video. Yeah, bye.